deserve this. Okay, thank you. Okay. Go, Rhonda. Ouch. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihare Jana Malaba Iri Bharat Arati Gopi Dhamata Iri Bharat Iri Bharat Yasodanandana Bhajajanandana Yasodanandana Bhajajanandana Yamuna Tera Vanachalde Yamuna Tera Vanachalde Jaya Rana Madhura Kunya Vihare Jaya Radha Madhura Kunya Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Prajajananandana Yasodanandana Prajajananandana Yamuna Tera Vanachalde Yamuna Tera Vanachalde Jaya Radha Madhura Kunya Vihare Jaya Radha Madhura Kunya Vihare Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Paravacharya. Also tell us it's Shimad, His Divine Grace Savaya. Chalananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindigijai, Navacharya Shinagrita Thakur Vijay. Friends say, Go Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shitway to Gadadha, Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrindigijai. Shishi Radha Krishna, Go Sayana Kunda, Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Vijay, Vrindavanam Vijay, Mathura Vijay. Jagadasami Kajai, Munamai Kajai, Shimati Vlasadevi Kajai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrindi Kajai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Udali Shimani Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurani Pacharni Nivashesha Shunyavadi Pasyachite Shitarni. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 47th chapter, text 60. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nayang Shya Anga O Nitanta Rate Prasada Swar Yoshitam Nalina Ganda Rucham Kuto Anya Rasotsave Ashab Buddha Danda Grigita Kanta Labda Shisham Ya Udakar Braja Vallabhina Nayam Shiyanga Unitanta Rate Prasada. Svaryoshitam Nalina Ganda Rucham Kutonya. Rasotsavesya Pushaganda Grigita Kanta. Labdashisham Yaduragad Rajavallabhina. Nayam Shriyanga Unitanta Rate Prasada. Svaryoshitam Nalina Ganda Rucham Kutonya. Rasotsavesha Bhujatanda Grigita Kanta. Labdashisham Yaurakad Rajavallabhina. Nayam Shriyanga Unitanta Rate Prasada. Svaryoshitam Nalina Kanda Rucham Kutonya. Rasotsavesha Pujatanda Grigita Kanta. Labdashisham Yaudakad Rajavallabhina. Nanda Grita Kanda. Okay, anyone else? Not. I am this. Shia of the goddess of fortune. Ange on the chest. U, alas. Nitantarate, who is very intimately related. Prasada, the favor. Swa of the heavenly planets. Yoshitam of women. Nalina of the lotus flower. Ganda having the aroma. Rucham and bodily luster. Kudaha much less. Anya others. Rasa Utsave in the festival of the Rasa dance. It's interesting. It's Rasa Utsave, not Rasa. Anyway, interesting. So Asha of Lord Shri Krishna. Bhujadanda by the arms. Grihita embraced. Kanta their necks. Labda Asisham who achieved such a blessing. Ya which Unagat became manifest. Brajapallabhinam of the beautiful gopis, the transcendental girls of Braja Bhumi. So, translation. When Lord Shri Krishna was dancing with the gopis in the Rasa Leela, the gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. This transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or other consorts in the spiritual world. Indeed, never was such a thing even imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets, whose bodily luster and aroma resemble the lotus flower. And what to speak of worldly women, who are very beautiful according to material estimation. So you can repeat. When Lord Sri Krishna was dancing with the gopis in the Rasa Leela, the gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. This transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or other consorts in the spiritual world. Indeed, never was such a thing even imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets, whose bodily luster and aroma resemble the lotus flower. And what to speak of worldly women, who are very beautiful according to material estimation. So purport by his divine grace, by the servants of his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The word meanings and translation for this verse are taken from Srila Prabhupada's English rendering of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Majjhīla 880. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti comments as follows: Lord Krishna, the best of all avatars, exists on the highest platform of purity and morality, and thus he always remained praiseworthy by all, even while accepting the worldly criticism for his cow tending. So who gave him criticism for that? Anybody know? Shishupal, that's right. So Shishupal criticized him for that. What's that? Yeah. Well, that's also in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Then you have Kamsa's mother, Padmavati. That's the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Kamsa's mother, Padmavati, criticizing the residents of Vrindavan for engaging someone like Krishna in cow tending and not feeding him that much. Wandering in the forest, taking meals with young monkeys. Taking meals with young monkeys. Stealing yogurt, seducing other men's wives, and so on. Similarly, the gopis, who are constituted of the Lord's pleasure potency, achieved the highest standard of purity and auspiciousness, even in comparison to the goddess of fortune, and thus the gopis are supremely glorious, even though they were criticized by worldly people because they were mere coward women living in the forest and behaving in an apparently improper way. So I'll read the verse again. Nayam Shiyonga Jitantarate Prasada Swaryoshitam Nalina Ganda Richam Kutonya Rasotsavesha Bhujatanda Grihita Kanta Labdha Shishamya Udagad Vajaballabhinam. So Omagana Tivrandasha Yananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. So before commenting this, I just want to make one comment based on the translation. It says, the gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. This transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or the consorts of the spiritual world. It's not simply being embraced, because actually we find in the Krishna book that who is embraced by Krishna besides the gopis? Anyone know? Well, Kuja and Rukmini. Prabhupada comments in the section where Krishna's household life is being described in the Krishna book, that even though Krishna was lying in bed comfortably embraced by his wife, when the peacocks crowed, not the chicken cocks crowed, then Krishna got up, and that's an ideal householder. So sometimes the ladies say to their husbands, therefore you should follow Krishna's footsteps and embrace me. Anyway, that's another subject matter. So But the transcendental favor that was given to them was, of course, the rasa dance, not just being embraced by the arms of the Lord, but the rasa dance and basically violating all sorts of social norms in order to be with the gopis of Vrindavan. So let's read a little bit from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Actually, before that, I want to mention this. I'm going to put this on silent. So this particular verse is actually quite a popular verse, and it's appears it appears several times in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita too. And two of the times that it occurs that I come to memory, one time is with the interaction between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy, where he's describing the exalted position of the gopis. As we know in the Ramananda Samvada, it means the discussion. Samvada, actually, it's interesting. Samvada means perfect discussion. Like vada means a discussion or philosophical discourse, and in which one is coming to a higher understanding. There's different names for different types of discourses, but vada means coming, the idea of coming to the perfect conclusion, isn't it? When you're talking about argumentation or people who are having discussions, it means coming to a perfect conclusion. Some people have discussions just to establish what their own superiority. So in this particular case, between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy, they were actually having the discussion to understand what is the absolute truth. And actually, Prabhupada's book, written on the Ramananda Samvada, is called In Search of the Absolute Truth. Has anyone read that book before? I have a copy of it. If anyone's interested, I have a copy on the internet, an e-copy. So, anyway, so in this discussion, Ramananda Roy is acting basically as the teacher, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking him these mayutic questions. You understand mayutic? Anyone understands that? It means midwife. Midwife? Why midwife? Because midwife is someone who delivers the baby, helps the wife deliver the baby, but she's not delivering the baby directly. So there's actually a philosophical methodology that people utilize to come to a higher understanding, is they keep asking questions. It's not this, it's not that. So anyway, it's called mayutic. That's the system that Socrates uses, or at least Plato uses when he's actually portraying Socrates. It's a very interesting point because Lord Chaitanya is actually using this particular system because he's asking Ramananda Roy, what's the highest, and then what's the methodology for achieving the highest? And Ramananda Roy, as you know, starts out with what? Varnashram, and Lord Chaitanya rejects that as external, and he gradually goes up and up and up. I'm not going to talk about the whole Ramananda Samvada, but coming to the position of the gopis, and then the position of Srimati Radharani, the highest. And in this particular context, he quotes this particular verse, and that's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and also the Ramananda Samvada. And then the other time it's used in the Chaitanya Charitamrita is in the interaction between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Venkata Bhatta in Srirangam. So what is that interaction? That's when Lord Chaitanya remained for 4 months of the rainy season, the Chaturmasya period, in Srirangam, and he stayed in the house of Venkata Bhatta. And they had this very interesting discussion, which was done in a joking way, which is quite interesting because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Venkata Bhatta developed a very, very close relationship. And when you have a close relationship, you can tease someone. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teasing Venkata Bhatta. He was saying, first of all, Lord Chaitanya said to Venkata Bhatta that your Lakshmi, that's interesting, is supposed to be the most chaste lady. So why is she want to associate with that Krishna? Why is she given up? and performed all these austerities for hundreds of thousands of years to associate with Krishna. And then Venkantapata knew the philosophical explanation for this. He knew the ontology. Ontology means the nature of Krishna and the nature of Lord Narayan. And he said, actually, Krishna and Narayan are the same person. He understood this. And Krishna is Narayan in a pastime form. So then Lord Chaitanya said, okay, I accept that. But please tell me why, in spite, and this is where this verse comes into play, why, in spite of executing austerities for all these particular years, was she not able to enter into the pastimes of predominant to the rasa dance? And Venkatapata responds, this basically, I'm paraphrasing, this is above my pay level. That's how we would say nowadays. This, I don't know. And the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that the reason is she's attached to her opulent position as Lakshmi. Now, what does that mean exactly? Does it mean that she's attached to all the jewelry she has? I don't think so. But being Lakshmi, she has this, this prestige, being very, very chaste. Because chastity, going into the traditional Vedic society, of course, Indian society nowadays, it doesn't apply. But chastity was held in very high esteem. I mean, you find stories like Devahuti, in order for her parents to protect her chastity, she wasn't even allowed out of the house, right? She had to do her sporting activities, on the roof of the house. Should we do that nowadays with the young girls? And there's the Gandharva, Chitra something. So he was Chitrath. He was flying through the air, and he happened to see her. She was so beautiful that he fell out of his airplane. So, and then even you have another story about this chastity, was the story of Usha and Aniruddha, right? That Usha had a fantastic father, always wanted to protect her. He was a nice guy, Vanasura. And he just kept her in a room. She couldn't see any other man, right? Except for eunuchs and her own father, probably uncle and everything like that too. So she was protected. And then when he discovered that this handsome man named Aniruddha was with her, by the mercy of Chitralekha, then he got really upset. My daughter's chastity has been violated. I mean, it was considered like so important in society. So important. I mean, sometimes even nowadays in Indian society, like, of course, ABCD is another issue. But the parents are very worried, if their daughter has had a boyfriend or something, or had some relationship, or there's some scandal, how are they going to find a husband for her? Just like great anxiety on the part of the parents. And even if there is some scandal, just keep it under under the table. We're not going to talk about it. Don't tell anyone. There's all this secrecy in India, isn't it? All this secrecy. Some can have one scandal. It's not even their fault. And it's a secret. Don't tell anyone about it. And we deal with this all the time. So anyway, just giving you a little sociological perspective of what the gopis did. Nowadays, some young boy plays the flute and you join him in the forest, just Hare Krishna, Not in India. In America, you'd be happy it was just a boy who joined your girl in the forest, right? And you'd be happy if your girl stayed as a girl. So you're talking about a little different culture here. Like I was talking to one of my disciples who's at Krishna House in Gainesville, and he said, "Oh my God, it's so hard for me to preach." She's from India. She said, "It's so hard for me to preach to the Western people because I can't figure out, he, she, it, they, what pronoun am I supposed to use?" And she says, therefore, the devotees there to just send her preaching to the Indian people when they come, the other ABCDs. So anyway, so this is the context that just like even the point made here about Krishna's criticized for herding cows. It's just like it's such a hierarchical society, right? That's really the point. Really hierarchy. I mean, just like even on the GBC level, I've been dealing with something recently about hierarchy. We have this kirtan ministry, and they want to pass all these rules that basically, if there's only initiated people should lead kirtan in the temple. And I'm fighting against them because I'm not interested in hierarchy. They're only only not Indian people. Almost going to get to that point, but anyway, so and you can't, if you're chanting Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, you can't have someone in the back, some of the audience say Nityananda, it's against the law. But anyway, so the point is that, all this hierarchy, and I was explaining that, sometimes we encourage new devotees, even though there may be so many older devotees present, isn't it, to lead kirtan. It's just like, and it's very encouraging, isn't it? Yeah, and as there's a whole talk about seniority and everything like that. And so, Western world is completely different. So, and actually, this was a Western person who's in charge of the kirtan ministry. But anyway, that's another subject, who used to play trumpet. Anyway, so we're having this whole discussion. I'm just giving you a little insight right out of the GBC conference about this whole thing. Kirtan is to encourage people. The holy names don't wait for initiation, right? So who's to say some new devotee who comes to the temple is not more advanced than me? I don't know. Who was that person in the last life? Who was he? Who was she in the last life? So anyway, so you have this hierarchy there, which is pointed out in this particular purport here. People criticize Krishna for taking care of cows. In America, if I took care of cows, would anyone criticize me? Even outside the movement. They wouldn't think, that's cool. But in India, at that time, it was very hierarchical. You understand social pressure, people talking behind your back. Some of you who come from India will understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's a prince, but he was taking care of cows. Yeah, who is the guy? We don't know what his caste is. His caste consciousness like that. We don't know what Chris Ishabal was saying. We don't know what his caste was. Yeah, so really the point is what the gopis did and what Krishna did is violating all souls. Even Krishna violated social norms. Sneaking out in the middle of the night to dance with girls. He was violating social norms. He didn't violate social norms for Rukmini. Although it mentioned, actually one of the things I'm not going to get a chance to read, is that Rukmini did violate some social norm by sending a letter to someone against her parents' permission. That's actually mentioned, I believe, in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Let me get this quote. I may have had a lot more quotes, but I'm not going to get a chance to read it. Yeah. Say, Rukmini, this is from Brihad Bhagavatamrita 35190, in case you're interested. That Rukmini is renowned as the dearest queen of Hari, but in spite of having abandoned the religious principles of an aristocratic maiden, just to satisfy Lord Ajuta's desire, which was actually writing the letter without permission. But getting kidnapped was not violating their religious principles. That was actually bona fide. What's that? Yeah, but that's not. See, she went against her parents' order. She's very forward. She said, "Just kidnap me." That for a woman to do that in that culture is just not acceptable. It's a violation of those cultural religious principles. It says, despite having, this is from the translation of this verse, despite having abandoned the religious principles of an aristocratic maiden, just as satisfied Lord achieved his desire, despite having once almost died in fear from a few of his joking words. That's just Krishna book story. I mean, 10th canto. She cannot obtain a trace of the gopi's good fortune. So, wait a second. We take questions at the end of class anyway. So, so the main point I'm making here is that the gopis relinquished, gave up everything that was important in society at that particular point to satisfy Krishna. And Krishna also sacrificed, you know, his particular position in society in the sense that he was doing something that really, I mean, young boys running out in the middle of the night meeting with girls is not permitted either. It's not only the gopis were violating that. So anyway, so that's one of the points there. Oh, anyway, so getting back, that was the discussion between Ramananda Roy, not Ramananda Roy, Venkatapata and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Venkatapata ultimately uh, became a Gaudiya Vaishnava, and the uncle, his brother, Venkatapata's brother, Prabhupada Saraswati, became one of the main acharyas in our disciplic succession because of that discussion that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had, proving that the gopis' relationship with Krishna was higher than that of the of Lakshmi with Narayan. So I just want to read a little bit here. I have so many interesting quotes here. Uh, here's a Here's a quote from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita 35191. Hmm. Though as attractive as the women of heaven, how can even the best of Krishna's queens compare to the gopis, even the main queens like Kalindi and Satyabhama or others headed by Rohini? So here's the commentary by actually Gopi Paranadana Prabhu and the other devotees. Despite possessing all heavenly beauty and good character, Krishna's eight principal queens cannot hope even for a slight trace of the gopis' good fortune. So, what to speak of Krishna's other 16,100 queens? And then there's actually a quote from this verse. Swayoshi Tupnalina Ganda Richam Kutonya. Never was such a good fortune even imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets, whose bodily luster and aroma resemble those of the lotus. Hmm. So here's the point. Here's the actual point in the Brihad Bhagavatam 37150. The gopis of Vrindavan have given up the association of their husbands, sons, and other family members, who are very difficult to give up, and have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda Krishna, who one should search for by Vedic knowledge. Oh, let me be so fortunate as to be one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavan, because the gopis trample them and bless them with the dust of their feet. So this is also a quote from the Bhagavatam. And in the commentary of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, by observing the glories of the gopis, by describing those glories in his own words, and by meeting the gopis in person, Uddhava is now completely absorbed in the gopis' special move of loving Krishna. In this exalted state, he has now discovered his true heart's desire, which in this verse he prays to achieve as the final fruit of all the service he has done for Krishna. In his next life, he hopes to become one of the plants in Vrindavan and receive the dust from the gopis' feet. The enthusiasm Uddhava gains from expressing this wish inspires him to say more about the greatness of the gopis. So anyway, so we'll take some questions now. Gopal, you have a question? The first verse, I have so many verses that I didn't quote from. Most, there is 35190. There's a whole series of verses there about before that. What 35190 was, there's this text anyway. There's 35191. There's a whole series like from 89 to 93, 193 that deal with that. And there's also Brihad Bhagavatam 37150. Is that the one you're thinking of? 37150. So any other questions? Gopal, you have a question. No, no, he wasn't, but she was violating by, basically by going against the whole arrangement that was made, and by being so forward. I mean, that's how strict the culture is. I mean, what to speak of someone running out, girls running out in the middle of the night to dance with someone. I mean, what? Dropping off their babies. Come on. I mean, this is just like, put it in the cultural context and you understand. Put it in America and it doesn't make sense. So they gave up all respect, whereas Lakshmi, contrasting, did not give up that respectable position. What? Yes, considered really bad. Yeah, for child neglect. I mean, yeah, even in America, they violate some principles. Okay, all glory is to His divine grace and Prabhupada. Nantamurnetra Yamamajanta Karamujaju Menana Satanganetra Yamamajanta Oh, Satsakam Patre, Ekam Kakanta, Sita Brahmanaram, Bhakti Patram. Mataram Bhakti Patram. Ananda Purnaiki Swadhushamubhajantam Akhyapuyam Sarum Ananda Purnaiki Swadhushamubhajantam Akhyapuyam Shika Krishna Mataditavata Ina Prema Tam Shatavati Vandai Mokshana, Mokshavate, Mama, Machamukuma, Puresha, Akuma. Idam Tevakur Nata Gopala Paragamago Sadamimanas Yaviras Kam Kinayare Chumukandosham Acham Chanunai Britam Budanai Smita Ratai Shagopya Shemitam Mimba Ratadadamve Manashami Rasta Anam Laksha Lavai Namude, Namuda, Ananta Vishnu, Prasida Prabhu, Tukaro Jala Dimana. Krita Tristi Vista Tikina Otanato Ganeshama Madhyame Yakshi Trisa Mujohada Mujagadavada Twaya Muchito Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Tata Prinavatim Swakamai Pracha Namoche Guraham Mesti Damodareha Namaste Sudam Vishnu Raditidam Tvajita Rayata Krishna Sudam Namo Radhikaya Etya Vyaya Namo Nantale Mayate Vayatumya Namo Vishwaram Satya Anandapurvam Rasat Kulanam Gokule Rajapadam Anandapurvam Yasona Yulukara Dhamamanda Parashara Yandato Chuchagopya Jarat Ha Gamadana Ha Damadana Jarat Ha Rakinana Ha Rakinana Jarat Hey Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya, all to tell us to Shimad, His Divine Grace, Vaya Chaitanya, the Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantagoti, Vaishnava, Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se, Guru Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadha Shivasri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopikavanath Sai Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Ki Jai, Machuradam Ki Jai, Jagannath Swami Ki Jai, Munamari Ki Jai, Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Madhyashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damadai, I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his brother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and his mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes. He shivered in fright, and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, who is bound by his devotees' love, I offer my humble obeisances. Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drowned the inhabitants of Gokul in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who were attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayan and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. Our Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I'm drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy upon me. Uplift me and protect me with your nectarian vision. O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Alakuvera, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastime.
That we're having Harinam on Saturday in Chapel Hill from 5 to 7. There's a football game. It'll be a big crowd there. Hare Krishna. Chintamani Chaitodarpana Marjanam Mama Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreyakairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijabadu Jivanam Anandam Budi Vardhanam Pratipanam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Nam Kari Purdani Sarva Shakti Natapitani Amita Smaranena Kala Etan Tushita Bhakipa Bhagavan Mamapi Gurdaiva Mitvishami Hanjani Mandaraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishuna Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadaram Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Rahoitaki Twahi Ainanda Tanuja Kikaram Patitamam Vishameva Vambuddha Kripaya Tavapata Pangaja Stito Duli Sadrishim Chintaya Nayanam Gadashudaraya Garunam Gadgadaradaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vabhukada Tamanama Grahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Shena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyavapadam Nazas Adarshanam Marmata Karotiba Yatatava Minatalam Pato. Thank you for your nice service. To the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It leads to the ocean of transcendental bliss, and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. If you invest in all your transcendental energies, they're not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But unfortunately, I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw of the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen to the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your holy name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord. He shall remain so. Handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my Lord, unconditionally. Sri Shastastra Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Please come on Saturday evening. Hare Krishna. Yes, you would